welcome to this video on Moses Itoma's latest victory win in round 1 against Whyte last night. Going through what happened, obviously not much to go through there, but we'll go through the other fights on the night, a couple of the big ones, and also go through the future for Moses Itoma. So straight into Moses Itoma, obviously won in round 1 against Whyte. From the start was faster. Whyte didn't really throw anything, but just foot movement, anything, just Whyte was deer in headlights, hands up, going, I don't know what to do. I need to figure this guy out. I need to give him time. And Itoma started throwing and went, right, if you're just going to stand there with your hands up, it's going to be over quick, and I'm not going to even allow you to have a look in. And that's what he did. Dropped him, a couple shots on him, carried on, moved back, good movement, didn't rush in, very well done, didn't allow the clinch or anything like that, and got him down. Once he was down, he didn't get back up. Whyte did protest a bit, but when he did reach the count. But key one is his feet were all over the place. So Whyte was protesting a bit, but really, can you really? No, probably not. You got up, started stumbling all over the place. Mate, he doesn't look good, to be honest. So straight away, that's the first thing. Maybe take a few more seconds on the ground, but I think the way he got hit, no way he was going to recover enough to get the referee to put him back in there. Especially from what he saw, the referee saw nothing coming back and just saw a 20-year-old come in and just fast hands and put you down. It's hard for the referee to allow you to go back into it. So look, I think it was a fine stoppage. I think he was going to allow it to continue until he started stumbling over the place. So that's a key one where he has to stop it. So I think perfectly fine stoppage. Whyte did protest, but really that was only going one way. And Moses Itoma goes on to bigger and better things in boxing. Whyte, obviously, he's back end of his career now. I don't know what he's going to do now, but hey, look, to be honest, not many fighters probably want to get in there with Itoma, so he'll probably get a nice little couple paydays of fights that, after this to keep him sweet for what he's done, because I think, a lot of people would have declined the Itoma fight, but he went in there, did what he did, fair play, got in there at least, and did try to continue, but really it's going only one way, and exactly what I said in the preview video I made. One-way traffic, it was going to be easy for Itoma. I don't see Whyte getting anything done in it, and he didn't. Before I go into Itoma's future fights, I think we'll go through a couple other fights on the card. So, obviously, Hrgović versus Adelaide happened on this card as well. Hrgović basically dominated the whole fight. Adelaide didn't really throw much at all, and look, early on he did. I think he cut Hrgović at one point, which wasn't really a cut shot, really. It was just a jab, but hit Hrgović straight in the place where he's had quite a few issues with this same cut, kept opening up, obviously scar tissue there, I'd guess, and just keeps opening up on his eye. And as soon as that opened up, I thought, oh, this could be a problem, but look, Adelaide didn't really throw anything to actually keep it open or cause a problem, and the cut man did very well with it. Hrgović, that's going to be a real problem, though, for him in the future if he's getting opened up with a quite a simple jab. And okay, yes, it was in the region, but against some of these better fighters, he's going to have right problems where they start targeting it, and he's done. It's a real bad cut and a real bad place to have a cut that keeps opening up on that side. So I don't know what he can do about it. I'm guessing he's already tried to, because again, like I said, it's not the first time this has happened, but look, he's got a few things to think about. He did well, he won it. He won basically every round. I would say it was a 10-rounder. The judges gave him 9 or 8 rounds. I gave him 10. But look, it's all in the ballpark of going, well, Hrgović just dominated the whole fight, because Adelaide didn't really throw at all with Hrgović coming in, which was just scary. I mean, he did catch him at some points. Hrgović caught Adelaide at some points, and yeah, look, Hrgović dropped him in round 8, and Adelaide came back, but really that was it took till round 8 where Hrgović has got it pretty much tied up, and Adelaide's been on the ground to actually get some shots out from Adelaide, and then he looked exhausted afterwards, which was just shows, look, there's a difference even between Hrgovic and Adelaide. There's a discrepancy in boxing ability. Adelaide's going backwards in the boxing heavyweight sort of standings on from my stands anyway. If Hrgovic is giving you problems, there's no way you're going up and above like that. Especially, it was quite scary that Adelaide, especially even though he's got a cut as well, you've got something to aim for as well. He's not really getting any benefit out of it. So Hrgovic goes on. I think he's got issues as well. I think he's quite slow in there as well. He didn't look fast at all. Cut above his eye as well. Keeps opening him up. Look, that's going to be an easy target for any new opponent to go for. So, look, I think both fighters are going to have real struggles in the future on their next fights. Unless they go backwards, I think Hrgovic is only going to be pushed forwards, and that's likely going to be a problem for him now. Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman, obviously a good fight. Both did very well. Very, very competitive fight. I thought, I think coming into this, we thought Ball would get this done quite quickly and quite easily, or go decision, get it done quite easily. I think, look, I had it 116, 112 Ball. The judges had it 117, 118, 115 all to Ball, but look, I'm sort of in the middle of all them results. So look, very close fight each round. Some of these rounds could have went either way, but overall, really, you could even said up till, and this was a point I made, up till round 11 and 12, the championship sort of rounds, you could have had it even, but Ball won the last two decisively. And it showed. So he had real championship mindset, won the last two rounds, got the win. And really, I had it a bit further apart. Some people, the judges had it, two of them had it further apart than me, and one of them had one more round to Goodman. But again, look, some people online, I think even on the broadcast, they had it drawn at 10 rounds. And then they had the two rounds win by Ball. I think some people may have seen it that close, but that's probably giving Goodman as many rounds as you could at that point. Whereas I think, look, it could have went either way. And that's how if you were watching what Goodman did and preferred that sort of boxing, you could have gave up to 10 rounds, even. Ball, with his ability in championship, he's done this before, won the last two rounds, got the win on, I think, on everyone's scorecards, really. I don't think there's really much argument. I think it was more competitive than we thought it would be. And look, I had a good few rounds for Goodman, really good at staying at range, keeping his feet there. And when you think Inoue is next, is Ball going to be able to do enough against Inoue to really get something out of it? I know Inoue's likely going to have to come up in weight to fight Ball. He comes in, rushes in, gets a few shots off and all this. But after that fight against Goodman, do I really think, when it was that, okay, I had it 116, 112, but that's very competitive. So some of the rounds I gave to Ball were very competitive. I gave it to Ball. I thought he did better work, and the judges thought that as well. But they were very competitive rounds, and so Inoue is going to be very much more difficult to fight, like he has there. And Goodman really did expose some real glaring issues where, look, if Goodman stayed behind that jab, which he did start, just failing to use at points, which he did do when it was sort of even, he was throwing out a jab, keeping it distance, and doing very well in using that movement. Do I think Inoue's got that jab, got the movement? I think he has, and if not, a slightly more. So I think that's going to be a problem for Ball. I think it's a good fight, and I think that previously, and correct me I think I was aiming, going more towards Ball winning that fight, the super fight between Inoue and Ball. Do I think that now? I think it's very close, but I think Inoue could win it after that fight. I think that's it. It's going to be a struggle. If he gets someone behind the jab, Inoue's going to see this fight. If the fight does go ahead, he's going to watch this, really study it. Does that show a bit of a game plan against the Ball? It does. It does. And whether you can... I mean, everyone knows the game plan against Ball is to keep him off you. Keep him out of that range, the hook range, where he can just throw off combos. But do I think Inoue's high enough level to do it? Of course he is. Of course he is, and he's going to do it very well. I think Goodman's coming off, time out. He hasn't been the most active fighter, and to come in against Ball like that, I think that's a show. and really shows a opportunity for Inoue to get this done. I think Inoue probably wins it, which is sad. I want Ball to win that fight, but I do think Inoue gets it done. I think it's competitive though, but after this fight, I think Inoue gets it done. But let me know what you think in the comments about that one. And I'll just go through what do I think next for each fight. Obviously, Ball going there. I think his next fight is Inoue. I think that's the only thing they can really make at this point. I think it's what the boxing world in general want to make as well. I think it sells very well as well. ITUAMA, I think he's obviously going to go on after Whyte. I think he's probably touted to be Parker next. But whether, and the whole problem with ITUAMA, who's going to fight him, who's going to actually accept fights with him, it's going to be for a lot of money. Look, it could be anyone out of these top guys. It could be Parker, it could be a Joshua, it could be a Fury, but it could be any one of these guys that is at that top sort of level. It could even be Hrgović. For a sort of a tune-up fight, to be honest, it could be a Hrgović where they go, look, we've got no one really to accept. We offer Hrgović a load of money. He goes, yeah, sure, I'll take that. Just because, look, AJ's going off and doing his thing with Jake Paul, which seems to be going ahead and seems to have a lot of backing behind it now. You've got Fury, who's sort of out of the gym, not really looking for a fight at the minute. You've got Usyk, or Fury's out of the gym, not really looking for a fight unless it's Usyk. Usyk's obviously top level. He's not going to fight ITUAMA currently. Dubois, he's looking around the top level as well. You've got you've got a few minglers in that sort of range. That could be, but it can be either one. I think Parker probably makes most sense in this currently. But look, even Parker, he's touted to get an Usyk fight. So, which one would you rather go for? Well, you probably want to go for Usyk. You probably want to go for a title, of course. So, I don't think he goes back to an ITUAMA, which makes it very difficult for ITUAMA to make a fight. Unless one of these guys suddenly comes out of the woodwork that they need a fight and they're going to get paid enough to make it worthwhile. So, look, I don't think a Fury, I don't think an AJ, obviously not an Usyk, not a Dubois. Maybe a Parker is probably the best name you probably get out of that, but I think you probably go lower level than that. I think you go to the next group, which it's going to be very hard to get one of them guys to fight because they're going to be wanting to fight upwards, and ITUAMA is going to be their level or slightly below at current rankings and things like that, which ain't going to help ITUAMA when he's so dangerous. No one thinks they can. I think everyone's scared to try and ask the question in a ring where, am I better than ITUAMA? Because I don't think many people are in the whole heavyweight division. I think Usyk and ITUAMA is a good fight. I think it's a competitive fight. So, look, tough to say. I think Parker may be the one that's getting touted and pushed around, and that could be the case. I think Parker's struggling to find a fight. He was there as well, which sort of suggests there's some sort of conversations happening with Parker and the people behind the scenes with ITUAMA involved. I think ITUAMA fights anyone, to be honest. He's just looking for a fight which is competitive and brings name value and brings in fans. I think that's key for ITUAMA and his camp, is that look, they've got the skill, they need to build the name. And look, Parker would do that for sure. So let me know what you think of the fights in the comments. ITUAMA, great performance. Obviously, Nick Ball, very competitive fight, which is good to see. But look, makes it a bit more difficult for me to fully back Ball in a Inoue fight. And look, some other good fights on there. I think Hrgović did well to get through, but I think there's big struggles for both them fighters, Adelaide and Hrgović, in the future after that performance, because it wasn't great. And the type of heavyweights coming through, like even ITUAMA, them type of very high level, they're going to be fast, they're going to be young, hungry. I think they will struggle even with people of ITUAMA's age, but that are coming through and are fast and hungry. And maybe they're not at the World Championship level, which I think ITUAMA's at. They're going to struggle, though, even with guys who are coming up towards their sort of level or have ambitions of being a top 10 heavyweight. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.